Hi, I am Suri and this is Kremchis. If you are new to the channel, welcome. And if you have been visiting this channel off and on, thank you for coming back again. How have you been? I typically on this platform talk about shows and movies and books, and I have not necessarily spoken about books extensively, but I have to say that this month has been like a treasure cove of all of these amazing shows and amazing movies and amazing books, which I did not intend to watch. I somehow accidentally, for the past couple of weeks, I have just been lucky to, no matter what I watched, it was a good show. No matter what I read, it was a good book. And it happens very rarely when you experience something like that, because sometimes you'll hear a lot about a book and you'll hear a lot about a movie, and then you'll watch it and you'll come out feeling completely disappointed, not just underwhelmed but disappointed, and you'll feel like, oh god, that was such a horrid waste of time. But somehow this month I have managed to watch Bong Joon-ho's latest, Mickey 17, which, if you haven't watched, I highly recommend watching it right away. I might talk about that later on as well. I managed to watch these amazing shows. Severance Season 2 is out, which I'm very sure everybody is who has been keeping up with whatever's going on is as confused and as baffled as I am and as addicted as I am. And if you have not watched Severance in the past couple of months, I highly recommend, dodging the spoilers. Maybe watch season 1, get into season 2 as quickly as you can. And I also managed to find this amazing graphic novel, which is just like, it's called Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And it's just this, if you see the cover, it looks so cuddly when you see the bear, and then you see like he has like it's a she, it's not a he. She has a trash bag which clearly looks like she's dragging something ominous and looks like blood and whatnot. And it was a great book, and that's how this particular month has been. But I don't want to talk about any of these things. I want to talk about the show, which I always return to somehow. And this show is perfect. There is literally not a single episode which is bad. Every show makes you feel good about life and good about yourself and good about the world. And I have been returning to the show off and on for the past couple of years because I know that the show does not have unlimited seasons or a lot of seasons. So I'm trying to savor every episode. Every episode has its own story. So, you're not compelled to binge watch it, although it's such a good show. I won't blame you if you do binge watch it. The show is called Midnight Diner, and it is this fabulous show with these amazing actors, and every episode reflects on a different character, even though it's in the same universe. So the premise is that there is this very mysterious chef who runs this midnight diner, and it only opens up in the nighttime. And it specifically caters to people who are, working late and probably don't have the energy to cook, or, to go and uh, catch up with someone over some very fancy meal. They want like a quick bite, something that's affordable, something that's cozy. They'll go to the midnight diner. Now, the menu itself has only 4 items, or perhaps 2 items, but it does not have an extensive menu. However, if you really want to eat something specific and you buy the ingredients and you give it to the chef, he will cook it for you, and he'll only charge you for, his effort. And it's such a lovely premise, because sometimes I think about that where I don't have access to a lot of great Indian food, and I have the ingredients, and sometimes I can't make it myself. And I always think it would be so great if I could just buy the ingredients and give it to someone who's just naturally a good cook and can like pick up any recipe and just make it. And that's kind of like the premise of Midnight Diner. It is just this fabulous show, this amazing little universe of these very unique characters. It's drizzling outside, which is why and it has been raining for a couple of days now. So I'm compelled to keep returning to this universe, and it's just this diner where a person comes in, and the story kind of focuses on him or her and what's going on in there. Every episode has these set diners who show up, and they are kind of like always there. You'll see regulars sometimes the story is focused on the regulars, sometimes it's focused on the surprise guests who just show up. When you're sitting in a restaurant and you're people watching and you think, I wonder what their lives must be like, this show answers that question. You know, every assumption you have about a stranger, the show kind of answers that question in a very beautiful way. And you never really learn much about the chef. He's very mysterious. We don't have much information about why he does this, or what his life is outside of the diner. You just know him as a person who's in the diner, which is very astute way of telling the story. Because when you go to these regular places, like if I go to this place, this particular cafe where there's this particular lady who makes my coffee every time I see her, I cannot perceive her outside of that cafe, which is kind of what the show is. That every episode focuses on a different character, every episode focuses on a different story, a different situation. There's this one episode about this woman who's like this exotic dancer, and she works in this very famous club, and the regulars over there also know her, who go to the diner. So when she shows up to the diner to eat, the regulars like, oh my god, I'm such a fan, I love watching you dance. And the chef is very quick to be very protective of her, and he makes this particular dish for her which reminds her of her mom. And I don't want to go into the details because then I'll have to talk about every episode, but I highly recommend watching the show. Every episode has this amazing instant of food moments where it starts off with something that this particular customer asks for from the chef, and he'll whip it up and he'll present it, and then the end of the show he will show how he made the dish, which is just, oh, it is so, I'm always hungry when I'm watching the show. So make sure you have food with you, make sure you have snacks with you when you're watching it, especially if you're binge watching it. Cozy up, pay attention to it. Don't do it while you're like doing the dishes or folding your laundry. Like, watch it with luxury and satisfaction. Like, watch it if you have like 20 minutes of time luxuriously and just invest in it. And I know it's very hard, we are all busy, we are all doing so many things at the same time, but this show is about taking the time to enjoy life, and which is why I highly recommend watching Midnight Diner. Thank you for returning to Cremches. I'll talk to you soon, and like, share and subscribe. Bye.